Well, hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe. In today's video, we're doing something that has been heavily requested, and I just haven't had the time or, I don't know how to put, emotional energy to put towards this. We're returning to reality TV dating. More on that in just a second. Let's go ahead and roll the intro first. Okay, like I said, we're returning to the ever-requested reality TV dating. This one is going to be centered around Love Island, Australia. There's a whole slew of these for different countries, but Love Island, Australia is a special kind of messy. I have seen the first season of Love Island, Australia, but it's been a minute, and this is going to be from that first season. We're going to go through, this is a little gaming segment that they do within the deal, and this is what it's like watching reality TV with me. It feels fairly predictable. It's messy as always. I also don't know how this is gonna go with the copyright claiming system. Most studios are an actual nightmare when it comes to this. That's all the disclaimers, all of the blah blah blahs that I can possibly do. We're gonna go ahead and just emotionally prep and jump right into this. Let's go.
It's time for a little game we call Shaken and Stirred, where suaveness, sophisticated weaponry, and skill do not apply. It will certainly test the bonds of the Islanders, and it's hosted by our new Islanders, the Brawn and the Brain.
Okay. I just have to wonder, even just starting off this little like blip, slow motion clip that they're doing, I wonder how coached they are of like,
okay, we need you to run down this hill, this arid, dry hill, just ecstatic. We want you to look like you're heading to find the cure for cancer and you know you're going to succeed.
Everybody is just so stoked. I wonder if this is like a multi-take thing, and if so, that would be the most hilarious thing. It's like,
all right, Jill fell. Everybody back up the hill, please. Just get up the hill and we're gonna jump down again. Look so happy.
Now, some disclaimers about these shows. They apparently pump all of the contestants just constantly full of alcohol. They sleep deprive them and they cram them all onto one little tiny area, and it ensures drama is going to happen. And so this little game, you know what? They'll actually explain the little game. Let's just go. Let's go.
Brain and also Corey.
Islanders, in today's challenge, you get to hear what your fellow Islanders really think.
Our hosts will read out a quote about one of the Islanders.
There's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way. Taylor has consistently shown that she does things the wrong way.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to be doing during this is I'm going to be watching all of the different contestants as best as I can to see if I can anticipate who said what during the things, see if there's any nonverbal tells for that. Since it's reality TV, you can rest assured that it's extremely and horrifically cut together and pieced together in a weird Frankenstein mishmash. So there's the possibility that we won't be able to see much, but at very least, you and I get to walk down this journey of dumpster fireness and hopefully not get too severely burned. All right, let's go.
The subject of the quote must walk up to the person they think said it and chuck a drink in their backstabbing bronze face.
Oh my god. And that's the right way, Josh!
If they soak the right person, the Islanders get a point and we all rejoice. Hashtag Schadenfreude.
Shelby, who do you reckon said this about you? She is just faking her relationship to stay in the game.
Okay, not a lot to be able to go off of here with the little lineup, and I know that they're just gonna cut to immediately her tossing whatever drink it is. Now, the person that sticks out most to me is the guy with the white shorts and the sneakers here. All of them have the same color sneakers. White shorts, because she's kind of headed towards him next to the girl in the orange. He's bouncing his leg a little bit and sitting up pretty straight and tall and making consistent eye contact. That bouncing of the leg, that nervous energy, feels like it might be a bit of an indicator to me, but that's a very short clip. It's difficult to say. I wish it would show more of their reaction so you could kind of guess, but that's who I'm betting. Let's see if it plays out.
Sorry, Millie.
All right, okay. So Millie is who she guessed, and the person that I was suspecting, his name is Dom. And sure enough, it was Dom. His little tell is that little bouncing of his foot while sitting there, and the nervous energy that was very obvious and palpable with that. So cool, 1 for 1. I'm really not sure how this is gonna go. I'm honestly quite flattered that I got that one off of that little clip. I'm not having that high hopes for the rest of it. Let's continue.
It was brutal. It was so savage.
Next up, the talking cabinet himself, Dom.
Who do you think said this about you? He's 26, not 6. Why doesn't he grow up, fall in love, get heartbroken, and be messed up like the rest of us?
You're just too perfect, Dom.
Okay, so again, we're gonna have to deal with a very short little clip, and oh man, even walking with this one, oh God, this is a harder challenge than I thought it was going to be. I feel like he's walking towards somebody in the middle and gonna kind of go for somebody in that, but I don't actually necessarily buy that it's somebody in the middle. Everybody in the middle area there, the two specifically that he's really facing have fairly open nonverbal communication. The girl in the pink who is just up, she's leaning back a little bit, so I'm wondering if she's feeling like she might get a little bit of a retort back from Dom, from the guy in the white who's standing with the drink. I'm wondering if there's gonna be something like that, but I don't believe it was one of them. The only person who has different nonverbal communication that's really sticking out, a number of people have their legs locked and hands folded, things like that. Over on the very far left of the screen, that girl has her legs crossed, but it seems to be fairly nonchalant, not a lot of nervous energy. And then on the far, far right, just off the side of the screen, we see the girl in the two-piece. She's got a different form of self-soothing manipulator that's on her thighs there. As you can see that she's kind of running her hands down the side of her legs, similar to the girl in the pink. So in my opinion, I would feel like it's the girl on the far, far right said that about Dom. I'm not sure that Dom's gonna go for it. Let's see if that actually plays out.
Was it me? I don't know.
Okay, so that's who I thought it was. That's apparently who Dom thought it was. Let's see if the body language actually lines up with that.
I don't even know what I said.
And that is her name. That's Millie, and that is exactly what she said. So that's another one. That's 2 for 2. I'm feeling really confident about this in a way that feels also
Extremely fragile.
so I feel like this can shatter my illusion of grandeur so quickly. But so far we're 2 for 2. Let's continue watching.
I don't even know I said that.
I did like throwing drinks at Millie's face just because, you know, it was a bit of, I guess, a bit of revenge at what she said.
Eden, who do you think said this about you? You can't say anything in front of Eden unless you want other people to hear it too.
Okay, so from that little blip there, it shows the wide screen of everybody. The girl in the leopard print, I don't remember her name. She did a postural change to where she went from sitting smaller to she moved her legs apart and went and posed her hands on her hips like that. That postural change to me feels like it's that switching of roles. Perhaps she switched from feeling like perhaps it was a listening to more of I'm prepared for backlash side of things. Now, I'm not positive on this because it could also just be that she's worried that he's gonna come over to her for some reason. But that postural change strikes me as interesting. We'll play this out a little bit. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more nonverbal communication before the actual event. Let's see. Okay, so the girl in the leopard print, you see her dodging it as well. I don't know, that's a lot of odd nonverbal communication from the girl in the leopard print. He's obviously thrown the juice, I don't know what it is, on somebody else, but I do find that fascinating that she had a pretty substantial, leopard print girl had a pretty substantial pop of nonverbal communication, where as I didn't notice what the girl who's actually being, I don't know, doused in juice, water, whatever it is. I didn't see much from her, but let's see. Oh my, okay. So That's not the girl in the leopard print. I don't know what her name is, but I'm betting it's not Teddy. So whoever Teddy said that, let's see.
I don't remember saying that. I had no idea it was him.
Well, if that's the case, and since he didn't remember saying that, I'm not sure when he says, I don't remember saying that. I'm wondering if he's blowing a little bit of smoke with that to kind of cover himself here and save a little bit of face, because these are pretty nasty things to say to another person and then have it all brought to the light of day. Now with that though, you hear an increase in his pitch and his tone and the strain behind his voice. I don't remember saying that, and that to me indicates a level of agitation, so maybe he does remember saying that and he's not really misremembering something here. He's just trying to kind of save a little bit of face. Not positive, but now I'm two for three. Let's continue.
I knew it was him because I've never spoken to him. I've only spoken 2 words to him. Amelia, please stand up and grab a cocktail.
Amelia.
Who do you reckon said this about you? I reckon Amelia's playing a fucking game. She's sneaky.
I wish they would show more of just the people sitting down so we could watch this. Okay, looking through, playing. Oh, everybody's looking around. I'm gonna rewind it and watch their responses. If you see somebody who's not looking around during a statement like that, that can also be a pretty decent indicator that they know it's them kind of thing. So I'm gonna see who holds eye contact out of that group. I'm gonna rewind it about 10 seconds and try this again.
Amelia.
Who do you reckon said this about you? I reckon Amelia's playing a fucking game. She's sneaky.
Oh, it's so quick. It's so quick. It looks as if Teddy is holding eye contact again, the guy who had said the thing earlier about the other guy, but he seems to be in a fairly relaxed nonverbal communication. He's not sitting up really straight. We're not seeing any agitation gestures coming in. Oh man, the girl in the leopard print is covering her eyes, which I find that's a fascinating one. That seems to be an overall agitation tell. But I don't necessarily believe it's her either. Oh goodness. I'm gonna, let's see. Okay, see, now she did go for the girl in the leopard print, but I'm not, I don't actually necessarily buy that it was her. That's such an overt nonverbal communication gesture. It feels almost too easy to me, like that one's so obvious that can't be it. So I don't actually believe that it's the girl in the leopard print. If so, then oh my goodness, what an obvious tell. But I wish that it would show the rest. Another thing to look out for is if you select somebody from a group like that and it's not the person who's actually guilty, you have to watch for self-soothing gestures or relief gestures throughout the rest of the group. Perhaps a sigh, reposturing, reopening of nonverbal communication, loosening of overall body language, something along those lines. I doubt that we're gonna see something like that, but I don't actually believe that it's the girl in the leopard print. Okay, so it wasn't the girl in the leopard print. It's a person named Grant, which Okay, so fascinating. When we were watching the initial portion of that, he was looking around and checking with other people. I didn't pick up on a ton of agitation gestures from him or anything along those lines. So to me, I was left a little bit hanging there, but it wasn't the girl that was anticipated. Again, such an overt gesture like that. A lot of the times the answer's not that simple. It's gonna be a lot more controlled kind of thing, which this guy, Grant, must have done a pretty decent job at.
I did say that.
I still do think that she's playing the game in a way. Like,
okay, I did say that, and he does a lip lick and then a lip compression or bite in there as well. That means a biting back of negative emotions or words or sentiments, what have you. So that comes out in there. So he obviously did say that, and he has no reason to lie about it now, especially because they're probably not wanting him to lie about it right now. But fascinating. Let's continue.
I think that she's playing the game in a way. Like, I feel like she's only with Josh because he's a very popular bloke on the outside. I don't feel like she's very genuine, but yeah, Josh is the one picking that now.
Josh, who do you think said this about you? I like Josh, but now that I'm here, I think Dom is so cute. I feel like Dom is showing me a little flirtation.
So, just real quick, for Josh, the guy who's standing up with the cup, you see very overt self-soothing manipulators and gestures coming out, specifically centered around his face and mouth. He's doing a very tongue-in-cheek gesture, and that's a self-soothing gesture. You could see that coming in. Oftentimes, people will lick the side of their lips or rub their tongue along the inside of their cheek, something along those lines, all self-soothing. And then he also comes up and does a self-soothing gesture around there as well. So he's feeling agitated by this. Dom, the guy in the white shorts, is holding direct eye contact. This isn't going to be any of the guys in this group. They function off of at least from the season that I saw, they function off of a pretty hetero-style matchmaking in here, so it's not likely to be any of the men presenting here. So, let's see. I hope we get a little bit more of a pan out here. Okay, so he dumps water on, I already forgot her name, the girl in the orange. And I don't actually believe that it's her nonverbal communication, again, was quite overt. And so I'm wondering if at this point they were matched up together or something along those lines. A lot of the times people that are matched together will be pitted against each other for the sake of drama on these shows. So I'm wondering if this is, again, her overt, I don't want to be caught out in this side of things. It feels pretty overt. There's really not enough for me to be able to say who I think that it is. Yeah, I'm not super certain. Let's check. It was her. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so girl in the orange, I forgot her name was Amelia. Amelia did actually say those things, and so the nonverbal communication, the closing up that we saw, the tenseness that we saw, even though they were quite overt, that is actually apparently her nonverbal communication tells for guilt in this area, which is fascinating. It seems very overt. Perhaps she was hamming it up for the screen. I'm not sure. Regardless, he seemed to get that right. Fascinating.
Look at Dom. Everyone in the villa wants a little bit of Dom.
What's going on there, boys?
What the fuck? I didn't say that. I thought that was a bit like, oh my god. Josh is not gonna be happy with this one. Oh, my favorite.
Okay, so just from context of everybody talking, those two must be together. And so, yes, again, as per the reality TV norm, they have pitted the couples against each other for the sake of drama and entertainment for everybody else. So even looking on this little freeze frame that we have here, Josh is sitting closed, hunched over, tight-lipped smile, looking off to the side, not at all showing any form of openness or affection towards his partner at the time, which is Amelia. Obvious reasons why, but we're seeing it non-verbally. Let's continue.
Oh, my favorite.
Mac, who do you think said this about you? There are good bits and bad bits.
Oh, good bits and bad bits. Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so a number of people were looking around. Guy in the very, very middle next to the leopard print girl and the girl in pink, the guy in the middle there, he held eye contact the entire time. I find that fascinating due to the brevity of the statement, and it's not waxing eloquent, it's not very deep. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be one of the guys in the group here. On the very far left, we see, I think his name was Teddy, doing a pretty substantial self-soother to the back of his neck, which I feel is fairly telling. My money right now is on the guy in the very middle, like I had mentioned, or the guy on the very left. I have very little certainty on that. Let's watch.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's not.
Darn it! Okay, so it was Dom. So I should have noticed when Dom's tell of stress is that he sits up extremely straight. The rest of the time he's gonna be a little bit more relaxed. When it's him, he looks to be sitting up extremely straight. So now we know there's a pattern for Dom. If we see that anywhere else throughout, then it's gonna be more likely him. Teddy's self-soother was just a self-soothing gesture, and Eden's eye contact and locking of eye contact was because he knew that it wasn't him and he didn't have to look around to check. So Dom's tell is the extreme posture. Earlier, he had that extreme posture and a bit of a leg bounce in there as well, showing agitation. But that posture is now 2 out of 2 times that he has been selected, that's been showing up. So I'm gonna be keeping my eye on that. Oh boy, let's continue.
Thanks, Dom.
What the fuck? That's out of context.
Big self-soothing gesture there, a lot of agitation in the vocal cords. You hear the higher pitch and the lack of force behind it. Not feeling certain and having some self-soothers in there. Also, though, I have to be fair, that's not really that negative of a comment, especially on game shows like this or reality TV shows like this. They can get a lot nastier and a lot more gossipy than good bits and bad bits. That seems like a pretty, I don't know, that seems like a blanket term. Everybody has good bits and bad bits, so all right, I wouldn't be too offended if I was Mac, the girl. If I was Mac, I would not feel too offended by that. Just, yeah, roll with it. Anyways, let's continue. I don't know what I'm at. Let me know in the comments what my score's at.
Out of context for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure good bits and bad bits has been said about me as well.
Teddy, please stand up and grab a cocktail. Who do you think said this about you? The thing with Teddy is that I'm a really big teeth person, and I just can't.
Oh no.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
Okay. Fascinating. So, girl in the leopard print. You saw a very overt covering of the mouth. That's a shock gesture. Again, very overt. I'm not actually drawn towards that shock gesture. I don't believe that it was the girl in the leopard print. It cuts now to the girl in the pink, and she's in mid-frame. And what I find fascinating is that she's looking around and then she does a pretty substantial self-soothing gesture on her thighs there. That's a sign of agitation. I'm not positive on this, but I'm leaning towards her because of that overt self-soothing gesture. It feels like that was a little bit more overt. Everybody else is reacting pretty overtly with a lot of shock, and she's pretty subdued and doing a self-soothing gesture. I think it's the girl there in the pink. Let's see. Oh, and you can see, even with that wider clip, she stays frozen while he's walking around. So this is part of that fight, flight, or freeze. Non-verbal response, there's also fawn, which isn't gonna make as much sense in this context. So fight, flight, or freeze. Everybody else is fairly animated. Even the girl that he's walking towards here, Mac, she's staying in her same nonverbal positioning as before. I'm all but positive it's not Mac that said that. I'm leaning more and more and more towards the girl in the pink, nonverbally speaking, with the freezing, the subdued nonverbal communication, and the self-soothing gestures on her thighs. That's enough of a spike to me to seem suspicious. Let's see how this plays out. All right, so it was her. I wasn't sure who Shelby was. So Shelby's the one in the pink, and she was the one who was guilty there. It made sense non-verbally. She showed it pretty overtly, in my opinion, with that cluster there. And unfortunately, Teddy got it wrong and doused somebody who didn't say that about him. I'm sure that everybody on the show at some point has said some sort of nasty thing about the other person at some point in the runtime, but Shelby got away with that one. Let's continue.
It was so obvious.
Talk to the hand, Teddy. Talk to the hand.
One comment about poor Teddy's teeth. And so now I feel like the most shallow person ever when I'm actually not.
Millie.
A lot of self-soothing in that, a lot of shifting around. She's feeling extremely uncomfortable having to talk about that. In the moment, she felt the overt urge to even go and try to, I don't know, give a consolation hug to Teddy, which I don't know if that really helped too much. But regardless, Shelby, guilty and showed non-verbally.
Please stand up and grab a cocktail.
Oh God. This is so horrible. I'm gonna get a big one.
Okay, just neither here nor there. The girl on the far right, I believe the one who's walking up, I believe her name's Millie. She does a whole bunch of adjustments to her outfit as she's standing up, very hyper aware of how she's perceived. So she's fairly emotive when it comes to her appearance and how she's perceived by other people. That might be useful information for later on in this game. Let's watch.
Get a big one.
Millie thinks I'm threatened by her. What am I threatened by? Her small tits, her small lips, and pointy little eyes.
Fascinating. All right, so the girl in the leopard print. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. She's been very overt on the rest of these things when it hasn't been her. I'm feeling like it's her because of how subdued she is, and her nonverbal response is to freeze. She's not looking around a bunch. She's not being like, oh my God, that's such a shady thing to say. And she does a lip compression in there followed by a lip biting. Those are both agitation gestures, usually biting back of negative words, sentiments, emotions, what have you. So judging by that, I would be leaning towards leopard print girl for having said that thing about Millie. Not positive. It's a very short little clip. Let's watch.
I don't think I did. I did.
Yay! I knew it.
Indeed it was. So now we know leopard print girl is named Erin, and she did say that shady thing about Millie, and so again, her nonverbal tell is going to be likely a freezing of her response system. So every other time she's been, like I said, very overt, more theatrical, and now when it's actually her, she shuts down and she's subdued. So we're getting some understandings about these different people. Let's continue.
Hey, I knew it.
We got a point.
I was like, I'm gonna throw her in the pool with her eyelashes on.
Put your hands up.
Erin, who do you think said this about you? Some of the things she says just aren't attractive. She rubs me the wrong way.
These all suck. That's all these all say.
Okay. So I'm watching all of these people. All of the people, especially in this freeze frame that I'm working with here, all of them are looking at Erin, the girl up front, the girl with the cups. They're all looking at Erin except for this dude on the far right, the one that was sitting between the girl, Shelby, and Erin. That guy, he is looking at everybody else. Now, in other areas, we saw that he locks eye contact if he's confident that he didn't do a thing, so he doesn't feel like he needs to look around. So now this breaking of eye contact strikes me as interesting. He didn't do that in the other questions where he wasn't guilty of what was being said, but at this point, he's breaking his pattern from earlier. So my money is on him. Don't remember his name. Guy next to the girl in pink on her left side. That's where my money is. Let's see.
Oh, I think it's a girl, you little snitches, Millie.
Oh. Right, well, if you're
Tell
doing
me
it,
your
I'm covering
lashes.
these. You bitch, you put it on my face.
I don't think it was Millie. Even with that, her resignation tone, it didn't have any force that would indicate that nervousness or agitation. You would hear that as indicated by like a pitch change in the strain behind her voice. Drop down to a lower register that indicates resignation. I don't actually believe that Millie did it. Again, I think it's the guy that's actually right directly behind Erin now. Yeah, let's see.
My face.
Gotta be honest, it was the best feeling in the world, tipping a drink all over Millie's face. It was the best.
Okay, so just judging by the responses there, it zoomed in on the guy that I was talking about, and I mean, just judging by the editing choices, that must have been Eden who said it. Now, the amount of betrayal that's existing here, and if I remember correctly, like I said, it's been a minute, like a long, long minute. I remember almost none of this episode, but if I remember correctly, I think those two are again together, which fits in line with what they did even earlier with the other two who were together, that they kind of pitted against each other. So that would make sense contextually, that the show would be like, oh, let's stir up drama. And non-verbally speaking, Eden's tell of like, I'm locking in when innocent and I'm looking around while guilty is fascinating. So let's continue watching now. All right, and then you see him do a pretty substantial face-touching manipulator here again. That could be seen as a mouth-blocking gesture. It can just be seen as a self-soothing gesture. Regardless, it's in regards to something that was verbally spoken by him. Makes sense contextually. I think we're getting a little bit of an understanding as to how these people perform under pressure.
Oh, I'm gonna explain. Wow. Got security on standby.
Oh my god, I feel sick. You're right.
I don't even want to sit on the bench.
I'm not talking to you for a minute.
Okay, Erin, very overt nonverbal communication. If you see somebody doing this to you, that means that they're likely upset. Just really helpful insider tip on reading nonverbal communication. But all right, so I feel like we're getting some understanding. We've only got about a minute left to go. Let's go.
I was like, you're correct, Eden, but how could you?
Teddy, please stand up and grab a cocktail. Who do you think said this about you? When he chose to pick her, he knew it would rub me the wrong way. It was a dog act.
Down.
All right, so everybody turned and stared when that statement was said. Now, when an entire group of people turns and looks at a specific person, that's a really clear nonverbal contextual indicator. Everybody turned and looked back at the guy, Eden, at Eden. So they all turned and looked at Eden, which leads me to believe that that would be Eden's side of things. I didn't actually, because of everybody else's overt communication, I didn't look at what Eden was doing. If he was looking around, then we know, then we know who it is, because Eden only breaks eye contact when it's actually guilty. Let's see. Eden cannot hold eye contact. You see him there in between the two girls. He's looking down. I mean, one of the girls looks to be even scooching away from him already. So this is such an overt and very obvious tell to me. Non-verbally speaking, throughout the rest of the group, everybody's looking at him and scooching away from him, and he can't hold eye contact, which is his specific tell. Let's see.
Water me up, baby. One day. Are you hot? Yep. Oh, hotter than you.
Again, 'twas Eden, and he does his same tell at the end after he's been called out for saying something not so great about another person. He does a self-soothing gesture around his face, his mouth and nose. Already talked about it, but it's fascinating to see these very clear, repeatable patterns showing up for these individuals. There's really not much time left. I don't even know if there's another question. Let's continue.
I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed off that night. Could have said a lot much worse of things, but what's the point?
Congratulations on a great challenge today, guys. You scored a number of 10, and to pass, we needed 10.
Last one back to the villa has to learn the alphabet.
Oh goodness. Okay. Even just the commentator on this it's an Irish guy from what I can hear. It's savage about the commentary on the show itself. All right, I feel like we did pretty okay being able to kind of anticipate the behaviors. Missed a couple in there, which makes sense. Nonverbal communication isn't black and white, especially with the little brief clips that we were working with, but seeing the nonverbal tells that we did, it seems as though we were able to get a pretty decent ratio of right to wrong. Oh, wow. Just from that little tiny blip, if you haven't watched Love Island Australia, this is not, it does not encapsulate the entirety of the catastrophe that is that show. Perhaps I'll do more of it. If you do like this style of video, let me know in the comments below. There's so many reality TV dating shows. If there's any that you have requests on, please let me know in the comments of this video. If you would like to be able to support me a little bit more than just watching the videos that I upload, consider either following my Patreon or becoming a member. I can't put too much energy towards creating great content for that quite yet, so it would be just more of like a, I don't know, like a tip. You can consider it being like, here, I slid you across a dollar bill for your extra effort today, thank you, kind of thing. So if you would like to do something like that, I appreciate it. No pressure at all, especially considering what our delicious economy is like these days. So all of that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome, as you always are, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.